things. And I think questions do need to be answered, you know?
Also, poll might not be polling because, I mean, YouTube is a powerful platform that reaches a lot of people, but it might take a couple more years before we can say it's representative of the entire population. You know, if you hold the election on YouTube, Ron Paul wins, but it's not. It doesn't equal the rest of the American.
I have a question along those lines. There's always it's a double-edged sword when you're working with the internet support, and you guys see it on YouTube all the time with your positive comments like, oh, I love you, and then you get the evil comments, that kind of thing, right? So my question is, in the past two elections, Howard Dean and Ron Paul have been the internet candidates, and they turn out to be ultimately sort of flawed candidates who cannot be elected in a general election. Like you said, it's reflective sort of the fact that the internet maybe doesn't represent, but the internet political community does not represent the whole country. Tell me your take on that, and is there a time when the internet eventually does create these candidates that are viable in general election candidates?
Well, Howard Dean actually was up in the polls with the press in Iowa. You know, Ron Paul is up to the 6%, really hadn't been polling. You know, I don't know what Howard Dean did because he did his famous scream, you know, after he lost up in Iowa. You know, I have no idea what happened to Howard Dean because I was hoping like heck he could get elected. I mean, I could have had a ball with him. You know, I don't think he's a chairman, you know, of the Democratic Party. You know.
Any thoughts on that?
Can you repeat the question?
Just the idea that the internet candidate has always ended up being not viable in general election. Will we get to a point where they are, or what do you think?
I think right now it's kind of an experiment, or still in more of an experimental phase. It's an entirely new format, an entirely new way of communicating. And so there's a few of us that jumped in and said, we're going to try this. And eventually, maybe when we start to get it down, more people will feel comfortable and more people will be like, they can do it, I can do it, and they'll try. But until then, it's kind of scary, and it's kind of a new experience. And I think once they see more examples of something like this actually working, more people will get involved.
Yeah, if you have to qualify a candidate with internet, then obviously there's a fringe element to it. So,
Yeah.
but I think, not too much of a sidebar, but this is what the writer's strike is all about right now. All the media are moving to the internet, so pretty soon that will be a redundancy to say the internet candidate. You'll need the internet to win. Maybe in 08.
My parents still don't have internet, and I had to explain to them 5-6 times what was going on. Like, could you tell me again what you did? And my grandma was like, maybe we should tell the media. And my dad's like, well, what are you going to tell them? She's like, okay, yeah, good point. So I don't know if there's maybe just still an older generation out there that still struggles with this. And eventually, they're either going to get on or, I don't know, it'll just continue to get bigger.
Actually, I wanted to respond to your question about the internet candidate. Like, I don't think, because, you know, like, that's what we, the press, have been asking, like, who's the internet candidate, right? By the end of this year, Barack Obama is probably going to be raising $28 million just on the internet. Right? That doesn't make him an internet. So I think this idea of questioning the internet candidate is actually a flawed way of looking at it. If you looked at what Dean did and what Ron Paul is doing, it's not necessarily about the candidate per se, but about the message. A message is resonating. I think the beauty of the web is if you have a message, even if you're somebody, think of what would happen if Ron Paul if he ran like 10, 20 years ago. The media, we would not have been covering him because he had no chance in hell, right? But since he's putting his stuff on the internet, supporters are reacting to him on the internet, he's completely, like, you know, growing exponentially. So I think the media, us the media, need to make sure that we frame it the right way so it doesn't sound too simplistic. Because when we say that, oh, there's no internet candidate, it kind of, you know, I think, makes us look, stupid is that word. Like we're condescending. I got this question last night. I was at this forum, and then this guy said that, you know, look, if it wasn't for the internet, all us God supporters, all us percentage supporters, all us supporters that, you know, you guys would not be covering, wouldn't even have a voice. And I think that's kind of an important point that we have to make sure that we pay attention to.
Well, and I think this is the biggest story already.
All right.
The double-edged sword thing is that I think when I say internet candidate, I mean guys who are fueled almost to a greater extent by the internet than any other form. And I think the double-edged sword is that when you say, hey, I'm here, here's my message, everybody who likes it, come help me and identify with my candidacy, you get Nazis and you you get everyone who's on the internet. So that's the problem when it comes to being a violation of election candidate, is when you invite everyone in, you get everyone. And so that comes a problem with managing message and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm done.
I'd like to thank all our panelists for coming today. Michael, Ray,